no lives matter. This is a straight war. I'll be real with you. It's war. We're at war. This isn't like they say. There's no friends at war. So I respect the guy. As you said, he's done well. All that good stuff, but we're fighting.
To fight? Not as of yet, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go get my head bashed in. Sparring is sparring and we can see some sort of technicality being shown. Now, a lot of people are calling it fake. They're saying that it's set up.
Jared Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight.
Anthony Joshua calls out Jake Paul's knockout sparring clips as fake, saying they exaggerate his effectiveness. He explains that real sparring is balanced and intense and believes the ring will expose the truth. Even so, Joshua says Paul still deserves respect as an opponent.
Do you respect him as a boxer?
Yeah, definitely. He's always wanted to be a boxer. He's got a stand-up game. I respect him as a boxer, definitely, yeah, I have to.
Some analysts have questioned Jake Paul's sparring footage, saying it appears staged to highlight only his knockout moments. They argue that selective clips don't show the full picture of his performance or real ability. Critics say at least 3 or 4 full rounds should be shown to judge the sessions fairly. They also point out that the sparring partner Paul stopped wasn't highly skilled, making him easier to hit than a true elite heavyweight. Together, these points raise doubts about how accurate those clips are and whether they truly reflect Jake's readiness to face top-level fighters.
See some more of the sparring videos. That I agree with that. If we're going to see that clip of you knocking this guy down, we want to see at least a full round. We want to see what you're actually doing. If you're going to show us knocking this guy down, show us more. Is his opponent any good? Okay, that's another very good question. His opponent may just be, and we couldn't really see much of him there. He didn't really throw a shot. His opponent might be a nobody. His opponent might be a guy who started box fit a few weeks ago. So that's a very good point. It's things like this we have to actually ask when we, boxers essentially putting up videos of them knocking people out. Who is this guy? You need to know that, because then that kind of qualifies that knockout or knockdown to be good or bad. Cheap shot in sparring. That wasn't a cheap shot.
Andrew Tate weighs in on Jake Paul's sparring footage, arguing the heavyweights aren't going full throttle. Sparring, he says, should sharpen instincts and expose weaknesses, but here fighters are holding back. According to Tate, they're being paid by Paul, so the goal is to finish rounds, not truly test him. Punches lack real intent, defensive pressure is dialed down, and the chaos of elite competition is missing. These sessions may help Paul rehearse techniques, Tate notes, but they don't mirror the reality of facing a high-level opponent.
Do you think that's everything wrong with the sport?
I think as a boxing purist, it's quite upsetting to watch, young fighters struggle to pay the bills and struggle in little shithole gyms around the country trying to get big money fights and going through the Olympics and going through the amateurs and not being able to pay their bills. And I understand how frustrating that can be. So I think that's where the frustration comes from. I don't think it's everything that's wrong with boxing. I think that anything that gets people to tune in to a boxing match is good for the sport.
One more comment that he said was, Jake's been sparring Frank Sanchez, Jared Anderson, Lawrence Okoli, some of the best the sport's got in the heavyweight division. And he said there's no way these guys are actually going in there and sparring to the full extent. Look, you're a fighter. You've had so many camps throughout your life. Do you think Jake is almost asking them to go easy, or do you think this is proper sparring going on?
The point of sparring is to learn. The point of sparring is not for them to get in there and give Jake a concussion so he can't fight. So are they trying to knock Jake out? No. But are they giving him enough work for him to learn? I like to think so.
Gareth A. Davies didn't mince words when addressing Duke about Jake Paul, warning that Paul could end up running like a thief in the night. Referencing the brutal knockout he saw Francis Ngannou suffer, Davies emphasized that this matchup is far more dangerous than people think. He argued that facing a seasoned heavyweight like Anthony Joshua introduces risks Paul has never experienced. According to Davies, that reality will set in the moment the bell rings, turning this fight into a genuine test, not a manufactured spectacle.
I was in Riyadh, and I watched him knock out Francis Ngannou inside 2 rounds.
Yeah.
How can that go 3 rounds with Jake Paul?
It's very hard to knock out somebody that just hasn't come to fight and somebody that's just trying to survive. And that's what I think will happen to Jake Paul.
Do you think he'll run?
I think he'll run like a thief in the night. Once he sees the size of Joshua, those little 10-ounce gloves that they're going to be wearing, he's going to be petrified and his backside will fall out.
I went to the press conference in Miami for that a couple of weeks ago, and he was planning to motorboat AJ, and he thought differently of it when he was standing with
Good
him.
luck with that, mate.
No, AJ was. He'd have got motorboated out of there.
Listen, mate, listen. Good luck with that, because if he starts out with AJ, puts his chin out and starts trying to goad him in, I think Anthony Joshua will definitely iron him out early.
Do you think he finishes his boxing career then?
Let's hope so.
If Jake Paul does something weird and wins, is that impossible?
Nothing's impossible. Nothing is impossible. Highly unlikely, but not impossible.
If you'd been invited to fight Jake Paul for 25, I've heard it's 25 million. That's me behind the scenes. Other people have told me it's 60. Other people have told me it's more for Anthony Joshua. If you had been a current world champion and you'd been offered that fight with Jake Paul, would you have taken it?
100%.
So he had to take it.
He had to take it.
So you've got nothing against him taking it?
I've got nothing against him taking it, spending the money even. Still got nothing against that. My concern is for the health and safety of Jake Paul and the sport of boxing.
Because boxing will be pulled into the dock if something happens to Jake. It would never have been licensed in the UK, would it?
No.
Paul has been outspoken about the intensity of his recent training camps. In multiple interviews, he admitted that sparring with top-tier heavyweights has taken a physical toll, even leaving him with a damaged nose. While the promotional footage highlights explosive moments, it paints a more complicated picture beneath the surface. Analysts reviewing the sessions noted that some sparring partners appeared to overreact to Paul's punches. In several exchanges, opponents drifted toward the ropes after relatively light shots, raising questions about the authenticity of the highlights. Observers warn that while these clips may impress casual fans, they don't necessarily prove readiness against a fighter with Anthony Joshua's experience, timing, and raw power.
My nose has moved a couple millimeters to this camp. I'm not gonna lie, this sparring, the heavyweights, my nose have slight little something in there. A guy by the name of Frank Sanchez, he definitely cracked it a little bit. But yeah, man, it's bad. Wait, hold on. Look at that, dude. I'm like Squidward, dog. But don't respect me for getting in there. Respect me when I beat his ass. I'm not just walking into a fight. I'm going to win. That's what's gonna shock the world. I will become the king of boxing and own the whole entire sport.
Analysts examining Jake Paul's knockout sparring sessions have questioned how genuine they really are. They noticed that his opponents often overreacted, thrifting toward the ropes or corners after relatively light punches. This exaggerated response creates the illusion of dominance, but may not reflect Paul's true effectiveness in the ring. By putting themselves out of position so easily, the sparring partners generate highlight reels that make Paul appear stronger than he might be against an elite heavyweight. Commentators warn that while these clips impress casual fans, they aren't definitive proof of his readiness for a fighter with the skill and experience of a seasoned pro.
I wonder what shot did it or something like that. Like, even if you, especially if you see a replay, sometimes it happens so fast. Like, if it's a replay, usually like, oh, there's the one, or like you get a reaction when someone gets hit. You're not like, oh, I wonder if. Like, if you're questioning it, then typically the fighter gave in or decided to kneel down or push himself out of the ring or wanted to get out of the fight. You can tell right away. Like, when I land a body shot on somebody or when I got hit by a body shot, you could tell. I don't know, you guys can make your own assessment, but to me, this is a little sketchy. To me, the person he was boxing obviously pushed himself out of the ring.
BJ Flores, who has trained Paul in the past, offered insight into the mindset behind his sparring choices. According to Flores, Paul isn't just aiming to entertain, he wants to prove he can go toe-to-toe with legitimate professional boxers. Unlike his earlier opponents, often celebrities or athletes from other sports, Paul is now deliberately challenging heavier, more technically skilled fighters. Flores highlights that this reflects real ambition and courage, showing Paul is serious about moving beyond novelty bouts.